What up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome. Y'all know this is not a podcast. It's just my thoughts with Markman. It's been a couple of days since Drake dropped The Heart Part 6. Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. And I've been saying the whole time, I don't think we ever seen a battle like this in hip hop. At least I haven't. And I've been here every step of the way with y'all. Y'all been here with me. I just been trying to call it even. I'm not invested in who wins. If Drake wins, it just doesn't change my life. If Kendrick wins, it doesn't change my life. I'm a fan. I'm a journalist. I'm an artist too. I love the art of it. You know what I'm saying? That's what, and I'm invested in y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm invested in us. I'm invested in these conversations that we have. Not everybody's gonna like what I say. Not everybody's gonna agree with it. But I'm just calling it like I see it. And like I said, the most important relationship for me is the relationship with y'all. Y'all who watch, y'all who comment, y'all who go on other social media platforms and talk about how much I enjoy this thing. So just know that. I'm not going to wait to the end of the video to answer the question that's in the headline. I'm not going to make y'all wait all the way to the end. I want y'all to watch it all the way through, but I'm going to answer this question right at the top. I'm just going to get to it. All things considered, all things weighed, if this battle between Kendrick Lamar and Drake is over, it feels like the energy, right? Like we hit the peak. It feels like it's winding down. I know that Drake is dropping more records, or academics have revealed that it's not over, that Drake is dropping more records. And that's par for the course also. Like Jay-Z versus Nas, right? Classic battle, one of the biggest battles, might be the biggest battle in hip hop history. Outside of this, now we're gonna reevaluate. That didn't stop after Ethan and Super Ugly. I mean, Blueprint 2 came way after. Pusha T and Drake, the shots kept coming. Drake still threw shots after Story of Adidon. Like, these things don't come to like a screeching halt, just like a complete stop. Like, it just doesn't happen. So I do fully expect more records to come out, more shots to go back and forth. But it feels like the height of this, the peak of this, it feels like the energy is done. The energy is winding down. And if I'm wrong, I'll come back on here and I'll say that I'm wrong. I have no problem doing that. If I'm wrong, I'll come back here and say that I'm wrong. But I waited a few days. If this thing is over, if Kendrick Lamar and Drake is done, barring a comeback like we've never seen before in hip hop, Kendrick Lamar got it. If you ask me, Kendrick Lamar comes out on top. Over the past month or so, more than that now, like, we're talking about, this thing goes back to March 22nd, I believe. Future Metro, Kendrick dropped like that. And then we got Push-Ups from Drake, and we got Tailor Made from Drake. We got Euphoria, we got 616 in LA from Kendrick. We got Family Matters. About a half hour after Family Matters drops, we got Meet the Grams. Then we got Not Like Us. Those were two Kendrick records, and then we got The Heart Part 6. I said from the beginning, the angles are important here, the different angles that each artist take. And both of these guys had amazing moments. And they also had huge missteps. Like, it wasn't a clean battle. It wasn't like this perfect battle. But when I made my video breaking down Euphoria, I talked about how the battle was shaping up to be culture versus commerce. And maybe I didn't hit the nail right on the head, because Kendrick went heavy on the culture angle, like heavy, and questioning what Drake's culture was. Maybe it was more like culture versus cultural appropriation, but even the appropriation part comes from the commerce part, wanting to make money. You exploit something to make money. It wasn't that far off, but I knew it just felt like those were the lines that were going to be drawn, like who's for the culture and who isn't. Now, I don't wholeheartedly agree with Kendrick. I don't think Drake is devoid of culture. That's a narrative. First of all, they're battling, so we're going to say the nastiest things. I don't think, I think he's added a lot to hip hop. I think he is hip hop. I've said that. I said that when Mos Def said what he said. I think Drake is hip hop. I think he's another side of hip hop. I think he represents something different than what Kendrick represents, but he's hip hop because hip hop is vast in a lot of things. But we've seen so many different versions of Drake, so many like different artist shifts, so many different reinventions. The Southern accent, the Houston and Memphis ties, the UK and the Afro beats, the Toronto, you know, accent and just putting on for Toronto. But then there's like the old video of him dissing Toronto slang, the growing mob ties themes, as he gets more successful, Drake gets more menacing, right? And it's gradually built in his music. We've seen a lot of different versions of Drake. Some of it is evolution. A lot of it is just evolution. Artists grow, artists change. Other things are like questionable, but it makes him an easy target. It makes him like angles that are easy to pick at. And Drake himself leaves himself open to a lot of questions, and I think we have to admit that. Again, I think Kendrick's angle is beautiful. I think Kendrick comes at it from the right direction. I think Kendrick is pointing out things that people have been saying for years and really like picking them apart, like criticisms we had of Drake for years. Nobody is devoid of criticism. But I don't think Drake is like no culture. I don't think he's not hip hop. I don't think he's added to hip hop culture. But again, this is a battle. This is what's Kendrick supposed to say? Like, you only have a little bit of culture. No, he's like going after him. He's attacking him. I get it. But I think that's what Kendrick did really well, and he dropped the right songs. Like That, a legitimate hit. Not Like Us is shaping up to be a song that is going to be played for a long time. Another thing that Dot did here is he absolutely controlled the pace, right? Drake basically set the standard on going back to back in the battle when he battled Meek Mill and did Charged Up and back to back. Remember, Like That drop, and it took Drake 3 weeks to respond with push-ups. And look, he was on tour. Absolutely. Some say, well, he was waiting for Future and Metro to drop both of their albums to see how many disses came at him to see how he had to respond. Sure, that's true as well. But he took 3 weeks. No matter how you slice it, he took 3 weeks. And look, nobody had sympathy for Meek. Meek was on tour too when Charged Up and Back to Back dropped. He was on tour with Nicki Minaj. So nobody really felt sympathy for Meek. But and again, I don't believe in the clock, but people will put him on the clock in this conversation. So anyway, he took 22 days. Like, we don't even have to reason it. He took 22 days. And then, Kendrick comes back with Euphoria and 616 in LA back to back. Drake dropped Family Matters. 30 minutes later, Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams. And that was like when you think, if you watch basketball, when you think you have an open layup, LeBron has so many highlights of this. Like, he erases the layup, man. Like, you think you have an open lane to the basket, and LeBron runs full court down the court, chases you down, and pins your shot to the backboard. That's what Meet the Grams was. It was a chase down block, pinned it to the backboard. I think Drake thought he had one with Family Matters, and Meet the Grams matched the energy right away. It took the air out the room, and it made that night really heavy. Then less than 24 hours later, Dot drops some, hits us with Not Like Us. He controlled the pace of the entire battle, and he gave Drake fans what they were asking for, because there's this criticism that Kendrick drops, disappears for 2 years, drops again, disappears for 5 years, drops again, and Drake is omnipresent. We've never seen a presence like Drake. I think the Drake run from 2009 to now, this 15-year run, is something like we've never seen. And that's hard to do. That's not easy to do. But Kendrick was always criticized for not being able to put out music as fast as Drake. And in this battle, he showed he could. He didn't just keep up. He controlled the pace, and he had Drake in defensive mode the whole time. Credit to Drake, because he was shooting in multiple directions. I mean, Push-Ups was dope, though I like the beat to the leaked version better. But he's going at Kendrick, Metro, Ross, Rocky, Weeknd. Push-Ups was dope. Taylor Made was creative. I didn't hate the AI like everybody else did. I thought it was creative. He wasn't trying to fool us. I didn't for a second think that was Pac or Snoop. Like about 4 bars into it, I'm like, oh, okay, this is Drake's style of rapping, and he rapped it into Pac's voice. I get what he's trying to do. The rapping on the back half of Family Matters was fire. Like he was going crazy. Even though I still stand that night of Family Matters and Meet the Grams got ugly, and there was some mistakes made. We still haven't seen any real concrete proof of the claims that either guy made. I still don't believe the Kendrick, Dave, Whitney, love triangle, secret child, whatever you want to call it. I need real proof of that. And yes, I see like video of the lady talking at the casino, talking about what she heard. But I need to really see proof that Kendrick hit his child's mother, that he beat his child's mother. I need to see that. I don't want to see it, but what I'm saying is like I don't believe it. I need real proof. There's a lot of games being played. I don't believe Drake is a pedophile or that he has a daughter that we don't know about. I haven't seen proof. And I said this before, the reason why Story added on work when Pusha said, you're hiding a child is that then we've seen the proof of it. Everybody's going to talk about the girl that Drake kissed on stage back in the day. I don't know, she was a teenage girl. That video resurfaced. Yes, that is strange. Yes, that is creepy. But being a child abuser is a real crime. I need more proof, like to really put that on somebody. Yes, there's the Baca crimes and then Drake's proximity to Baca. Questionable. Sure, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like you have every right to question. But me personally, I'm not calling nobody a pedophile until because once you get that on you, that tag on you, you can't take it off. But again, this is a battle. I'm not saying Kendrick shouldn't say it. I'm saying I'm not saying it. But I need more proof or I'm gonna believe it. And folks are gonna leave comments talking about Drake put the supposed daughter's picture in the background of the Family Matters video. I need more proof. If Drake set this thing up, if he purposely misled Kendrick, where's the reveal that? And maybe that's coming, but I haven't seen it. I don't believe that Drake planted this info as a master plan. I'm skeptical of that, but if so, then show me in a real way. But regardless of it, Kendrick seems to have gotten from somewhere some bad information. Now, and then also too, talking about Meet the Grams, it was a dope response from a rap record. Family Matters was a dope response from a rap record. I do say on Meet the Grams, Kendrick took, I seen the play before. I felt like he took the play out of Pusha T's playbook. Like we seen this before, but that's just my thoughts on that. It got personal, got nasty. When I look back at it, Drake set off the chain of events on push-ups when he said, I'll be around some bodyguards like Whitney. I think that's where the nastiness starts. We caught that right away, right off the bat when push-ups drops in that video. I'm like, why did he say that? This is Drake's MO. He mentioned Pusha's wife and Duppy and opened the door for the disrespect that occurred in the story added on. And you think he would learn because he was so upset at how personal Pusha got on Story added on. But if you mention someone's wife, it's almost like, what do you expect? You can't kind of introduce that type of disrespect and not be prepared for what comes back or police what comes back. Like the rules kind of go out the window at that point. I don't believe there's any lines, but if you cross a line, you definitely can't be upset when someone takes it up another level. So now we know what he meant when he said, I'll be around some bodyguards like Whitney, since he was claiming that Dot assaulted her, that she would need bodyguards. We didn't get it at the time. We get it now. Prior to the Whitney line, it wasn't very personal. The whole tone of it was like, motherfuck the big three. It's just Big Me. Or like that, of course, there was the snatching chains and burning tattoos line. But in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty tame. But Drake mentions Whitney. And still on Euphoria, Kendrick keeps it pretty focused on Drake and doesn't mention his family. As a matter of fact, he says, we ain't got to get personal. This is a friendly fade. You should keep it that way. And then Kendrick goes on later in the song to attack Drake's morals and attack him as a dad. But he doesn't really come for Drake's son. He doesn't mention him by name. He didn't really say anything bad about Drake's son. He's attacking Drake's character. So I don't think this is the same as Drake mentioning Whitney. The more that I sit with this, right? We know the bars, right? Why would I call around trying to get dirt on? Y'all think my life is rap? That's whole shit. I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that. Waking them up, know nothing about that. Telling them to pray, know nothing about that. And give them the tools to walk through life day by day, know nothing about that. Teaching them morals, integrity, discipline. Listen, man, you don't know nothing about that. Speaking the truth and considering what God's considering, you don't know nothing about that. So it's more of an indictment on Drake than it is on his son, and it falls in the theme of the moral, the integrity, the discipline, the character of Drake that he's been attacking the whole time. But I get why Drake might take it that way. Oh, you mentioned my son. Technically he didn't. Technically he was attacking Drake, but again, you can't tell people how to feel about things like this. But I think that was the turning point. I think it was the Whitney line. It got real personal. To know nothing about that scheme, and then like gloves were off. I also told you at some point, and I don't know when it was either, but either right before or right after Euphoria is my guess. But some type of message was sent, a talk between these two. Not sure if it was a text, a call, but a message was sent to keep the family out of it. And you think about it, it kind of tracks because there was no family mention in 616 in LA. Then Family Matters dropped later that day, 616 in LA, and Family Matters dropped like in the same day, several hours later. Family Matters dropped, and Drake dropped a bomb talking about Dave fathering the child with Whitney. And he technically said, I heard, that the kid was Dave Freeze, but he introduced that rumor. So we're not going to let him skate on that technicality. And then he said that Kendrick hit Whitney. It's pretty personal stuff. Drake dropped Meet the Grams a half hour later. And my read is that Dot had that song locked and loaded. We know, right? There's no way he recorded that in a half hour. And nobody knows this for sure, but my guess is if Family Matters doesn't come out, we never hear Meet the Grams. I think after the message was sent of, hey, let's leave the family out of this, Kendrick had one just in case. Just in case he continues to cross the line, I got something for his ass. You know what I'm saying? And that was Meet the Grams. But I think if Family Matters doesn't come out, I don't think we hear Meet the Grams. Now, look, I think the whole thing was sloppy. The rapping was dope on both of them. Drake went crazy, like I said, at the end of Family Matters. Rocky caught a bad one. I said before, I do think Kendrick dipped a lot into Pusha T's playbook on Meet the Grams. So that made it a little less potent for me, but it's a dope record. But it was like, we kind of heard this angle before, and again, the other thing was the bombs that all of them dropped. Nobody could substantiate the claims. Like you can't, where's the proof? Rappers exaggerate all the times. A bunch of rappers straight up lie, but the things they said about each other, the things these guys said about each other, it's like, where's the proof? Then we get Not Like Us. The song goes crazy. The Mustard beat is crazy. This is the first time that Dot and Mustard hook up. Bullshit aside, the A minor line is hilarious. It's Dot. He's just clowning on this one. And the energy on this one, it's just like, yo, Drake got it. Now, I don't think the Heart Part 6 was bad. I think there was some dope rapping on there. There was some dope schemes. There was some dope reflections. But again, it was Drake in a defensive position. He even said a couple of times, like, yo, I'm about to bow out. Now, whether he meant that or not, or if he meant that to be taken like that or not, that's how it was taken. It kind of seemed like Drake was saying on the Heart Part 6, yo, this is over. But now we're hearing, nah, it's not over and there's more tracks. We'll wait and see. But again, it feels like the energy has dissipated. Not only that, there's real life consequences. There was a shooting at Drake's house. Somebody was shot. I hope his security guard recovers, man. I don't think that had anything to do with Kendrick. I really don't. There was also a shooting at Cash, from EXO, that Weeknd's manager, at his house about a week before. I don't know if these two things are related. I'm not necessarily here to speculate on it, but I don't think these shootings had anything to do with Kendrick. And then on two separate instances, someone tried to trespass onto Drake's property. So people are wilding. And yes, Dot put the aerial view of Drake's house as the cover for Not Like Us. But anyone who wanted to know where Drake lives knows. He showed the property in his Tuesday Slide video. I think that was the video. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was the one with the fireworks. I know he was dancing in that video, but I think they had outside shots of the mansion. He also had the song 7 p.m. on Bridal Path, which is the block that he lives on. So it wasn't hard to find Drake's address. The location wasn't a secret. But things are getting increasingly weird and crazy. People are getting hurt. This is not the direction that we want. So, I hope Cash's security guard gets well and recovers. I hope Drake's security guard gets well and recovers. But where we stand right now, if this thing is indeed over, and it feels like it is, it doesn't feel like we're going to recapture the energy that we had, the excitement that we had the last couple of weeks. I believe Kendrick is the winner here. Again, I think Drake is going to drop another one. I also see just weird games being played. Like, I'm in the media. I could see when things are being fed through certain platforms, through certain sites. Like, this thing has become more than just rap now. It is also trying to be won in the court of public opinion. It's hard for me to explain, but I've been in media for 20 years. Like I could see when certain things are at work. This is not about the music anymore. But yeah, I think Drake is still going to drop. Like I said, these battles never come to a screeching halt. But, this one just feels over for me. And if it is indeed over, man, I got to give it to Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick got it. I think that's pretty clear. But these are just my thoughts. Feel free to disagree. A lot of you are. I know it. But I want y'all to like, subscribe. I want y'all to comment, man. Y'all can follow me on Instagram too at Rob Markman. Follow me on Twitter or all the things at Rob Markman. And, we're just going to keep this thing rolling. That this channel is going to be more than Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. I promise you. We're here to stay. We're here to build. We're here to talk hip hop. We're here to talk culture. So, and there'll probably be a follow-up video because, again, there are more songs coming. But if I had to declare a winner right now, if this thing is over right now, it was Kendrick. You got to just respect my thoughts and my opinions. All right. But I'll be in the comments right there with you. All right. Peace.